Let's be honest, the SAT can feel like this huge, mysterious puzzle, right? But what if you had the solution manual? Well, today, that's kind of what we're doing. We're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the entire exam by taking a guided tour of an official practice test. So let's dive in. Okay, first things first, if you're feeling even a little bit stressed just thinking about this test, you are definitely not alone. It's a high-stakes exam, and that pressure is totally real. But the key to conquering it isn't just knowing the material, it's understanding the test itself. And that's exactly what we're here to do. So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the test's overall structure, then take a deep dive into the reading and writing section. After that, we'll master the math section, analyze the art of the question itself, and finish up with your key strategic takeaways. First up, let's get acquainted with the architecture of the digital SAT. Once you see how it's built, you'll realize it's not a random collection of questions, but a very, very predictable system. And this right here, this is our source material for today, the official SAT Practice Test 10. Everything we discuss is coming directly from this document. Think of it as our blueprint for deconstruction. Let's start with the test's core structure. It's broken into two main sections, reading and writing, and math. Simple enough? But here's the key detail for the digital version. Each of those sections is split into two parts, which the College Board calls modules. Now let's jump into the reading and writing section. The goal here isn't just to answer questions, but to recognize the types of questions you'll face. Because believe me, they follow consistent patterns. The first major category is words in context. Now, this isn't your old school vocabulary test. The SAT wants to know if you can choose the most logical and precise word based on the clues in the sentence. Let's look at a real example. Question 2 describes how the painter Jacob Lawrence paid close attention to all the details. So the test asks for the word that best completes the sentence. Well, that clue, paid close attention, points directly to the answer, he was observant. The logic is built right into the text. Next up, grammar. Standard English conventions is really just a fancy way of saying the rules of the road for writing. This covers everything from punctuation to sentence structure. Take a look at question 21. We have a complete sentence before the blank and another complete sentence after the word but. The rule is simple. When you connect two full sentences with a conjunction like but, you need a comma. This shows how the SAT tests specific, learnable rules. But reading and writing isn't just about words. You'll also need to be a bit of a data detective. Some questions require you to read a graph, table, or chart and draw a logical conclusion from it. In question 17, we have this graph showing survival rates for 3 types of fruit flies. Now here's a pro tip. Understand the graph before you even look at the answer choices. See how the lines are behaving? Once you get what the data is saying, you can easily evaluate which statement the graph actually supports. The final question type is rhetorical synthesis. Essentially, you're given a set of bullet points and a specific goal, like emphasize a similarity between 2 studies. Your job is to choose the answer that uses the notes to perfectly achieve that goal. The best way to approach these questions is with a simple 3-step process. First, identify the exact goal stated in the prompt. Second, quickly scan the notes for the key facts. And third, evaluate the answer choices to find the one that perfectly executes the goal using that information. All right, let's pivot to the math section. Now, this isn't just random arithmetic. It's focused on 4 key areas. But the good news is you're not going in empty-handed. The test provides you with some pretty powerful tools to help you solve the problems. The SAT gives you a reference sheet, a built-in cheat sheet, really. It has essential formulas, particularly for geometry, covering area, volume, circles, the Pythagorean theorem, and special right triangles. This means you can focus less on memorization and more on application. And here's a perfect example of its value. Question 21 gives you the lengths of 2 legs of a right triangle and asks for the hypotenuse. You don't need to have the Pythagorean theorem memorized. It's right there on the reference sheet for you to apply. On the math section, you'll see 2 ways to answer. Most are your standard multiple choice, but a few are student-produced responses, where you have to calculate and enter the answer yourself. This tests your ability to get to a precise answer without the help of options. For these grid-in questions, the instructions are critical. You have to be super careful with formatting. For example, you can't use mixed numbers, you have to write them as improper fractions, and don't use commas. Following these simple rules is essential, so you don't lose points on an answer you actually got right. So we've looked at the content, now let's look at the strategy. So much of the SAT is about understanding exactly what the question wants from you. Seriously, the phrasing is everything. Look at this comparison. Question 6 asks for the main purpose. That's a summary question. You're looking for the big picture. But then question 15 asks which finding would most strongly support a claim. That's an evidence question. You're looking for a specific fact that proves a point. Recognizing this difference changes how you approach the answer choices completely. We've toured the test, broken down the sections, and analyzed the questions. Now, let's crystallize all of that into a final set of strategic takeaways to guide your preparation. So here's the bottom line. The SAT is not a mystery. It's a system with predictable structures and question types. Your goal is to get really good at recognizing those patterns. Read every prompt with intense focus to know your exact mission. Use the tools they give you. And remember, practice isn't just about getting questions right. It's about learning the logic of the test. We've deconstructed the blueprint, and we've given you the map. You can see the patterns. You know the rules of the game. The test is no longer an unknown territory.